Hey everybody, it is the middle of August and you know what that means. Deer season's right around the corner here. Archery here in PA opens up in some areas in late September, and the rest of the state opens up early October. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build some arrows. It's pretty simple. I know everybody thinks it's pretty intimidating, but it's actually a pretty simple process once you have everything you need, which obviously get yourself some arrows. You're going to have to find the correct spline and length based off of your draw weight and draw length. So I have a 29-inch draw length, and I shoot 70 pounds. I shoot an elite tempo. So I go with about a 28-inch arrow, carbon to carbon. Carbon to carbon is going to be from the base of the nock to the cut end where your insert's going to go. I like to try to keep a little bit of arrow over my rest. I shoot single bevel fixed blade broadheads. They're usually pretty large, so I don't want those things anywhere near my fingers. But once you have your arrows selected, you can get them cut down. I have this nice little Weston arrow cutter here. Makes things really simple. I already have this arrow fletched. I cut the other arrows, but we'll go ahead and cut this. It's going to get pretty loud here for a second. Alright, we're cut. Now we just need to square that end. That's where this comes in handy. Just got a little sanding stone here. Pop her on there. Give her a couple spins. You'll kind of hear when it kind of smooths out, quiets down a little bit. Everything is nice and uniform. So after that, we're going to get ourselves an alcohol pad here. And you can use a little cotton swab. I have a ton of these alcohol pads. I can actually get them from work, so it's a lot cheaper. But I just stick that in the end there. Get it down in there, give it a couple wipes. You want to get that carbon dust out of there, that way your hot glue will stick here. Clean up the end a little bit. Let that dry. Alright, once that's dry, we'll grab one of our inserts that came with our arrows. These are 23 grain inserts. What I like to do with these as well, grab your alcohol wipe, give them a nice little wipe down just in case they have any manufacturing oil or anything on them. Let that air dry. And then you're going to get some of your cold glue here. This is I forget the name brand of it, but you can buy it at pretty much any sporting goods that sells any arrow components. But all you do is heat it up. It takes a couple seconds. Once you see it kind of get glossy and start melting, take your insert, wipe on just a little bit. Don't need a lot. Something like that. Break all those little strings off of there. Next thing I like to do, because these get quite hot when you're heating them up, grab a pair of pliers. And then you're going to heat that glue up on that insert. Get it nice and hot. that right. And you're going to take your arrow, put your insert in, and I like to twist it as I put it in. Kind of smears that glue all around that insert. Once you get it in there, I just hold a little bit of pressure on it. Doesn't take long, couple seconds, and starts to tack up. The carbon actually sucks the heat out of it pretty quick. So you can see it's pretty much dry. So excess, you can just grab with the pliers, peel it off. It'll just come off in a little strip. Don't throw this away. You can just stick it right back to your stick over here. Might have to heat it up to get it to stick a little bit, but that way you're not wasting it all. But just stick it back on there. Now you got it for another insert. And once the insert's in there, you'll have a little bit of excess glue here. What I like to do is just take a little bit of steel wool and hold it on the end, give it 4 or 5 turns, and it cleans it up pretty good. Any heavy stuff you can kind of peel off with your thumb. But that's your insert install. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. On the back side here, I got custom feather fletchings on here with a wrap. I already have my other arrows cut and wrapped, so we'll go through the fletching process on one of those. And to do that, I shoot a right helical fletch. My broadheads are right helical single bevel. So you want your vanes to match, you want your fletchings to match your broadhead. So this is the first year I'm actually trying the feathers. I usually use these Q2 archery vanes. I've actually found these on sale at Sportsman's Warehouse for a 50-pack. It was pretty cheap. But these are 3.5-inch vanes. The feathers are actually 4-inch vanes. But we're going to be doing the feathers today, and with this Arizona Easy Fletch, a lot of people don't know that you can actually fletch with the feathers. The feathers tend to be a little bit thicker than the plastic vanes. So we'll get a couple out here for you. And I 4-fletch my arrows. There's a ton of videos you can watch about the benefits of 4-fletch versus 3-fletch. I like to do 2 orange, 2 white. I like the bright colors. It makes it nice. Without using Luminox, you can actually see your arrow fly through the air to the animal pretty darn easy with the white and orange wraps and the white and orange vanes. But this Arizona Easy Fletch is really simple to use. It is a 3-fletch jig. So if you want to do a 3-fletch, you can put all 3 of your fletchings in here at once and close it up on the arrow and glue all 3 on. Usually takes no more than 4 or 5 minutes for everything to set up. Doing 4-fletch is a little bit different. You're only going to utilize the odd color jig here. This is for your cock feather. The other ones are a dark blue. That one's a light blue. So when you do this, you're going to take your arrow, slip it down in this hole here, and you'll see there's a like a little crossbar in there that your notch in your nock will actually fit over top of. So stick it down in there, wiggle it around, you'll feel it grab. You can turn it, you'll hear a click when you turn it either way. At that point, as I was saying before, a lot of people don't realize you can actually fletch with the Easy Fletch with feathers here. A lot of people have trouble. Reason being is this fletching jig is pretty skinny down on this bottom side here. I don't know if you can see it. You might be able to see it on this one. It's a lot wider in the middle. It gets skinny as you go up towards the top. It gets skinny as you go down towards the bottom. So the way that you fletch with feathers in these, normally you would just load the fletching in down here at the bottom, don't know if you guys can see that. You would load it in like this down at the bottom. Very hard to get the feather in that way. So if you come about halfway up with the tallest part of your feather fletching and you stick it in there, if you get it started and then kind of line this top piece up, once you get it laying down in there, you can pretty much just hold down on it, slide it down to the bottom, and it'll stop down there when it bottoms out. So once that's there, I have some Fletch-Tite Platinum for fletchings here. You can use just a normal arrow glue that you can use for inserts and fletchings. This is primarily for fletchings. It's a softer glue. Don't need much. I start at the bottom here. If you start at the top on these, they kind of like pull out on you. You can see it's already kind of popping out there. But I start at the bottom. Don't need much. Little daubs going all the way up. Once you have that, just grab the end of this and just kind of smear it all up and down. You don't want too much glue on there because it will overflow out from underneath the vane and get all over your arrow and stuck to the jig. So a little goes a long ways. But you do want to make sure you cover that whole thing. Alright, once that's in there, again, like I said, we're doing a 4 fletch right helical, and this is a 3 fletch jig, so we're only going to be using one at a time here. The jig for the cock feather, so that's in there. We're going to go ahead and lift your 2 empty ones up first. Seems to be a little bit easier, gives you a backstop when you close this one. So just make sure your fletching is in there. You're going to bring it together. Before you put your cap on, you want to make sure that the fletching is in there, which it actually came out a little bit. Alright, so everything is all lined up. You can see on the inside of this, there's your fletching. You want to make sure that it's lined up in that groove all the way. So once that's lined up, you're going to take your cap, slide it down over your arrow, and you'll see this cap has some notches on it. They line up with these notches on the jig itself. So you'll just pop that down in there. It'll kind of tighten up on you. And then the bottom of the jig, you're going to hold this part here, and then this part down here, you're going to push it up and then turn to the left. And that allows this spring in here to push up on this and kind of squeezes it all together, squeezes your fletching to the arrow. So once you do that, you'll wait about 4 or 5 minutes to make sure you get a good setup and that fletching glue will dry. If we do that, it's going to take a while, but pretty much I didn't do a wrap on this one. Or no, I did it. I actually did a wrap on that one. I did one earlier. It didn't have a wrap on it, but I'm doing the white wraps and the orange wraps just to kind of offset it a little bit, just because I want to. No special reason. But after you get all your fletchings on, get it out of the jig. What I like to do, if there's any excess glue or anything on the arrow, I like to take a little toothpick or a knife and just kind of scrape off any of the heavy spots there. And then the next thing I like to do is take my Fletch-Tite, and right here where the fletchings meet the arrow, you can feel the feather veins especially, they have a little bit of a ridge there that, you know, if this passes through an animal, that's going to catch, probably going to rip the fletching off. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of Fletch-Tite and just daub a little bit and make myself a nice little ramp on the edge of it. And if you get too much like I just did, you just take your finger, take a little bit off. This just helps if you get a pass through on a deer, you're not ripping your fletchings off, or if you miss and end up in the brush, it'll help keep your fletchings from ripping off. But once I get that on there, I'll just kind of broom them back a little bit where the excess is on the shaft. That's it. And then you can do the same thing on the other end if you want just a little bit of added structure there. Just a little daub at the top. That's what that'll look like. Just little daubs right there. And then I'll take my finger, just kind of wipe it down. And it just gives it a little bit of like a ramp build up to the edge of your fletching there. So after that's done, set it aside, let it dry. The only thing I didn't show you guys was the wrap on the shaft. That is pretty self-explanatory. All they are is a sticker. They come on a little pad like this. Peel them off, lay them on a flat surface, line your arrow up, and then just roll your arrow over top of them. Pretty cut and dry. But other than that, that is about as simple as it gets to build an arrow. All right, thanks guys.